So hopefully it's
It
okay.
should be good for at least like an hour or two.
Nice.
And it's rolling.
Let's go.
Oh my god, if I just bumped into the table, if I ruin something, it's gonna go like that, I don't care.
But don't worry, it's all going in, so...
Yeah. Like, it can go in like completely tilted
Yeah.
and stuff.
Sound has been rolling, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
I've got like 5 minutes if you just like fiddling with the camera.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Just leave that with an empty screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we just need 2 more cameras. Just 2 more.
Just
Like
two.
one right here on the TV and one right on the couch, right?
That'd be perfect. We can organise that.
Yeah, for the next time.
You're already in like performance mode. I love this.
No, I'm actually completely natural.
Well, welcome to Two Sides of the Screen podcast, episode 1. This is our first time ever filming a podcast. So please, please excuse the scuffedness of everything. My name is Tori, and I'm here with my co-host Ivan.
That's me.
We're film students, but we don't know anything about classic films, and so this whole podcast is going to be us going through a big list of films that I collected from IMDb, Letterboxd, BFI, all of the film bro, film canon shit that everybody knows. And we're going to be watching one every week. We're going to let you know so that you can follow along like it's some sort of movie club. And we're going to be giving our opinions on them, which should be quite split. Is the idea.
Exactly.
Would you like to explain our first movie and how we got to that choice? What
So-
our premiere episode is?
Since we're starting with film classics, we
Yeah.
obviously went with Madam Web, which premiered in cinemas like 2 weeks ago, so on Valentine's Day. So yeah, we went to see Madam Web in cinema recently, and we decided it's actually a perfect opening episode for a podcast like this.
It's still current, hopefully. Everybody's still shitting on it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can contribute to that end. And Ivan can have some other things to say about it.
Yeah.
So what was Madam Web about?
So, for those of you who might not know, Madam Web is a Sony's superhero film that recently came out about...
Yeah.
It's a superhero origin story about Madam Web. And she basically has like a ability to see into the future. She can see like different things that might happen, and she will try to stop them, obviously. So that's basically a short synopsis of the film.
No, you brought it down. You brought it down, yeah.
And it's starring one and only Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney and some other amazing actresses whose names I cannot remember.
Perfect stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, we saw Madam Web. You know nothing about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
As
feel,
a character.
Yeah,
I bet this is a good angle to start. You know
Yeah,
nothing
definitely.
about Spider-Man.
Okay,
First of all.
first of all, to be completely honest, I did watch the first Spider-Man with like the upside down kissing scene. Because like one of the most iconic scenes ever in cinematic history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I did watch the first one with Tom Holland.
Oh, okay. So that's your Spider-Man knowledge.
And I know Venom. I watched, I think, both parts of Venom too.
So you're already a fan of the Sony Spider-Man universe.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
genuinely did like Venom actually. I don't know if that's also controversial. But like,
No, it's less controversial. Some
Okay,
people
amazing.
like Venom.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got the what it's about out of the way because my god, this movie was a shit show. Madam Web is it is everything that people are saying about it. I was in awe at just how strange every single choice is in this movie.
No, I think we need to go through it in like some sort of order.
You need to go through. Well, we can start with the opening scene, where
Okay.
her mum is studying spiders. Is in the jungle studying spiders before she
Yeah,
died.
her mom is actually studying spiders in the Amazon forest with him right before she died.
Yeah, exactly. Which sadly the trailer spoiled for it. Oh no. But no, that scene immediately off rip is so strange because it's shot pretty normally, pretty naturally. Nothing special. But then all hell breaks loose. They find the spider. Bad guy stabs her. She dies. And all of a sudden, it becomes this like handheld shaky cam deal, which is to be expected from an action scene.
Yeah.
But then there's these really weird, just like digital zooms that they keep adding, and it makes it feel like the fucking Office. It makes it feel like a sitcom. Like she's about to get like interviewed while she's being stabbed. It all of a sudden just becomes so like naturalistic, as if we're watching like a documentary.
Okay, to be fair,
And they're all digital zooms. They're not even real zooms.
even though I loved the movie, I can agree that the opening scene was kinda not the best. I
Right,
truly
right.
think you need like to push through that and okay, because like
That's the only part you need to push through. Yeah.
exactly no, because I think no, but I genuinely think it makes sense. I think the zooms were kind of like a really risky choice in that situation.
Because
As
they don't make any sense.
I kind of get it because it was like they zoomed in like especially like on the spider because like it's a huge important part of it because he's stealing the spider because like the spider has like some magical things in it like this venom of the spider can like make you into a superhero basically.
It makes you see the future and makes you climb on walls, except it doesn't for Madam Web. So that's just like not explained.
No, that's actually pretty clear in the movie.
Why?
No, so did you not get that? So
No.
like he did so you have that whole society of like
Ezekiel is the bad guy's name. I had to remember. It is said a total of one time in the whole movie. When it was finally like spoken, like Ezekiel, as if we all know that. Robin was like, who? Who the
No, I
fuck?
think it was mentioned like briefly in the beginning actually.
I think they maybe said it like in the opening scene, but then you see his name on like the back of a photograph.
Yeah.
And I kept that in my head, so I knew what they were on about. But
Yeah,
like
same.
it's so easy to miss. They only ever
Mm.
say the villain's name like aloud. Like maybe a couple times.
Yeah, like once.
Yeah.
Twice. No, but like that whole like society of those weird spider people,
Yeah.
they all have like both the powers to see the future and like climb on walls and stuff like that.
Mm.
But because Ezekiel did not deserve the power, he only got like the climb on walls and a little bit of like seeing the worst possible future. And Cassie,
So it's like a karma thing.
yeah, and Cassie just got the seeing into future because like a spider didn't bite straight into her, it bit into her mother while she was giving birth.
I think you're doing a lot of the legwork for the movie.
No, but to me to me it genuinely did make sense while watching it because like the spider bit.
I mean,
it's-
I accepted it. It just kind of washed over me.
No,
but
I think it's one of those classic tropes where you know like the child of a superhero only inherits a small amount of their power. So like
Yeah.
Cassie's mom, if she didn't die, she would probably be able to climb on walls and also see the future. But Cassie can
and the
only
bad
see
guy
the future.
can't see like all of the future
Exactly.
because because of karma, because of some weird like curse or whatever.
Yeah, and that's literally what the spider guy said, like when they were in the cave in Peru.
Okay. in the weird like definitely on a set like drown in the pool sequence.
Yeah.
Astral reject.
Yeah, he literally explained to Cassie like, yeah, you can see the future, but he can only see the bad parts because like that's what he deserves.
Okay.
So like it makes sense, like yeah.
And like the tribe controls that, or like I hate to pick apart the logic of a superhero movie because you can do that for any superhero movie.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
if it made sense for you, that's okay.
It did. I think it makes sense for people to actually pay attention to the film they're watching. Anyway, back to the opening sequence.
No need to start firing shots for me not paying enough attention to Madam Web.
No, I told you I'm ready to fight for this film. Like I told
I'm
you, I
going to
will
fight against
defend
it
this.
completely.
Like,
This is why this is a great opening episode. This is why this is called Two Sides of the Screen.
because we're on two sides.
Yeah, wait until we get to like Pulp Fiction, Inception. It's gonna be...
Never
it's
heard
gonna
of
be a
those,
fight.
actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So...
No, so back to the opening stuff. Yeah, the zoom-ins, I can agree with that. That in that scene they weren't
It's
like
weird,
giving.
it's janky, and they never use it again until the final fight scene.
No, they did use zoom-ins in the.
I'm talking about like specifically the shaky cam, like office
Oh,
style.
okay, yeah.
It's shot like a mockumentary.
Yeah, that.
Like I used shots like that.
No, I feel like that first scene was kind of missed the like cinematography aspect.
Yeah, the cinematographer took a day off.
Yeah, genuinely, I think like that first scene really like.
I don't think they had a cinematographer.
No, you never know. Anyway. But I think the writing of that first scene is actually good because like it gives you the whole backstory without giving you too much, if that makes sense. So you know that like you can obviously assume that that's her mother. You know that she was researching spiders
In the jungle before she died.
Yeah, and you see how she died, and you see that like I keep forgetting their name, but like the spider people. Like I think it really sets like the whole vibe in the right way. You know, like the backstory of Madam Web.
It set the vibe for me. It set the vibe that this was immediately going to be a fucking wild ride. Because from the get-go, people were saying like how weird the villain's dialogue sounds throughout the entire movie. You said you somehow didn't notice it, but from the opening, you can tell that all of his lines were like re-recorded. He sounds weird. Like he was recorded in a completely separate location to everybody else, but then still you kind of struggle to understand what he's saying. It's so odd.
To be fair, I did not struggle to like hear what he was saying. I think it wasn't so much like that he sounded weird. I think he sounded okay. I think it was like not matching up like with his lips at all. I think that was the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Because like
it doesn't match in the slightest.
Yeah, because like I think the way he sounded was actually okay for me personally. Like I didn't like.
Well, maybe it was
catch
just
that.
because the performance was so flat from the villain. Like that's the one thing I have no idea who that actor is.
Yeah,
but,
same.
oh my god, he was so one note. He was just like mean and evil and like killing everybody. And it's like, I don't care about killing children. You don't know how hard it is to know the day that you're going to die. And it's
No, but I also like I get it. Like I feel
But
like
he's so
I feel like
no.
some people really like want to get more from the villain, but like I don't. Like I feel like this was fine because like you know he's evil and you know he has like a reasonable reason why he wants those three girls dead.
I
And,
mean,
like, that's it.
yeah.
And you
But
also,
like, yeah, that's it.
yeah, and some people are just like that. So
There's a bit in his flashback to when he gets killed, which again, full spoilers. The story is that 3 girls kill this guy.
Spoilers.
3 girls end up killing this guy in the future. It flashes forward. He has a vision of him dying, being killed by 3 spider women. And in the flash forward, he has like grey hair and he like looks really old, which like makes sense. But then I realized like halfway through the movie that he isn't any younger in the flash forward from the start, where he's like 30 years younger, because like Madam Web, I can't remember what her character's first name is, but
Cassie.
there we go, Cassie Webb.
That's actually her name, Cassie Webb.
It actually is, yeah. But Cassie's mum died in childbirth. Cassie's about 30.
Yeah.
So how old is this fucking guy supposed to be? The villain is like 50 by the time the movie happens, right?
To be honest, I did not pay attention to that.
Yeah,
But
because he
also
looks the exact
No, but
same
also-
30 years prior.
But also the man who like saved her mother, I mean saved Cassie technically in like while her mother was giving birth to her, also looked the same. So I would think that it's because of the powers.
The powers give you some sort of anti-aging. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was also thinking that, but again, I'm doing the work for the movie here. But then in which case, why does he look like fucking grey hair and old by the time we get to the flash forward? Because the flash forward is only like 10
but,
years
he
forward.
was just-
And all of a sudden it looks like he's aged like 30 years.
Yeah, because
like
he was
10.
stressed out. Somebody's trying, but like somebody's trying. Like 3 people are actively trying to kill him.
It would give you grey hair.
Like,
No, I
genuinely,
agree.
like,
No,
I'm-
it's totally just not them not thinking about continuity.
No, I think it's a you
at
thing
all.
actually. Like I genuinely think it makes sense.
And in that flash forward, in that vision, the performance, he looks into his spider case and he's like, "Where is my spider? Who took my spider?" It's so... I was already crying laughing at that point. It's,
No, but I also
it's
think
actually hilarious.
Well, one good thing about his like character is, well, you might argue if this is a good thing or not, but I feel like
I
it's
don't think he had a character.
No,
he
I
had
feel-
like one trait.
but I feel like it sets him up really nicely with like him stealing the spider, because like he pretended like he didn't believe in that like spider people, and then like as soon as Cassie's mother found the spider, he was like shoot everyone and take the spider, which I think really sets him up as like a really greedy, like will do anything for power, like power hungry villain.
Yeah, but your villain needs more than one trait.
I don't think so. I actually like when a villain is just a villain. Like you don't need to sympathize with the villain every time. Like you don't need to understand.
No, I
them.
don't mean sympathize, but it's like it's more fun if they have like a bit more to his character other than he's just the same evil, like fucking sadistic guy that you've seen in like every other superhero movie, right?
No, I genuinely.
It's like the way he's just
yeah.
like murdering people for fun, and it's just like my poison will kill you or whatever.
No, I genuinely get that, but I also like when a villain is just a villain, so I can actually just like concentrate on the protagonist and like root for them, you know.
It does make sense, but you can make them like a little bit more entertaining than what he
no
was.
need actually for me.
And I mean, to be fair, his scenes were entertaining to me because I was paying attention to how awful his dialogue sounded and how poorly written it was because he's just so stereotypically evil.
And what's wrong with that? Like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Like, it's okay.
It's a good word for cliche, I guess. That's a good phrase for cliche.
I mean, I definitely agree. I think, like, his character is, like, very stereotypically, like, just evil and a cliche, but I personally like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing either, so...
I was talking to my partner Robin about this. I think there's a big difference in just... I have actually seen a bunch of
I can hear
movies.
Jingling.
I can hear you.
Oh my god, a cameo? Wait, wait.
You filming?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Say
I'm
hi.
so hormonal.
If I go swimming.
Steamed out.
Oh no.
I'll leave you alone. I don't want to taste it like that. That's so
That.
much. Where did you find that?
On the floor.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, I was really giving, like, set
What do you have
design.
like the lights on? Like one of those moments.
Oh.
Ooh, that's kind of slay.
Oh, maybe turn on the flashlight then.
Okay.
Love you.
See ya. So that was that.
Don't worry, I'll cut that out.
No, wait, where were we?
Talking about the film.
Oh, you literally said that you talked to Robin about something.
Yeah, no. So I talked to my partner Robin about how I've just seen a fuck ton of superhero movies. So I can't just watch a cliche by the numbers superhero plot
Mhm.
anymore. It's like, yeah, it isn't broke for the first, like, maybe 4 to 5 times that you see it, but I've seen like 20 superhero movies that have the exact same plot beats.
Yeah, and that's on
and the
you.
exact same one-dimensional villain.
That's on you for being a nerd, actually. Like,
I'm glad that you're intellectualizing this. Yeah.
no, but like genuinely, like just stop. Like,
No, I have, and then I got dragged to see Madam Web.
yeah, you're welcome, actually.
No, it is the most by-the-numbers plot that you can imagine. Except the bad guy doesn't even die at the end.
He does. He
doesn't die. Well, he dies in the flash forward. That hasn't happened yet.
No, he literally died.
No, he falls off the building, but he's alive and he's trapped by rubble. It's implied that he survives.
Oh, I thought he was just like that because like a huge S sign just like fell on him. Like
No,
why
you see
would-
him like trapped under the rubble. It's like, I guess he could have died. But,
I didn't
like...
see him moving.
But like Cassie survived, so like
Survived.
falling off the building.
No, but because she
and getting
fell-
hit by a firework and like.
Yeah, because she fell into the water, not like on solid ground.
No, to be fair, he did. Yeah, okay. So even if he did die, he died to the real hero of the movie, Pepsi Cola. The real hero of Madam Web is Pepsi Cola. There is
No,
so
okay,
much.
but
For some reason,
know.
it's like the only product placement in the whole movie.
It is,
like
but I also
Pepsi.
thought it was gonna be worse because people kept saying like, "Oh my god, the product placement is so bad," but like it's one scene.
It's like 4.
I mean, like the most.
Because the final showdown takes place on a fucking Pepsi factory
Yeah, and like who
that
cares?
for some reason has fireworks in it.
No, I think it was a Pepsi. No, I think it was a fireworks factory with like Pepsi sign on it as like an ad.
I think it's like a Pepsi Cola factory.
No, but there were
But then
no
still,
Pepsi
so-
Colas inside.
Interesting thing that I heard about the development of the movie is that they couldn't decide what time period it was actually going to be set in.
I don't think
Yeah,
that.
no, so
It's obviously 2003. Like they
except
set it
for
up.
a few bits. So the
What?
soundtrack is jumping around everywhere between like 1980s, 90s and like very current, reminding you that it is 2003 when she like steals the taxi and it's like right in front of a big Beyonce poster, just to,
Yeah.
or like Rihanna poster,
It was
something.
Beyonce. Yeah.
Beyonce, just to remind you that it's 2003. And then when like Toxic is playing, just to remind you exactly what time period it is. And it's like, this new hit is going to be a real showstopper.
I am.
Remember, it's 2003 in this movie. Don't think about it too hard. But then, yeah, the Pepsi logo in that final scene on the building is the old Pepsi logo. They weren't using that in 2003. That's like the really old Pepsi font.
I think
Like-
those are such details that all actually make sense to me. Because, like, first of all, the music from, like, the 90s, we also listen to Toxic today, like, even though, like, 20 years later, like, it's not unusual. And also, like, the Pepsi being an old sign even furthermore proves that it's an ad, a really old, maybe a really old Pepsi factory that got
I
turned
feel like
into
you're going way
fireworks.
too far out of your way to justify
I-
product placement because it is a firework factory. It doesn't even matter if it's an ad or not. Why is there a Pepsi ad on a firework factory?
Why not? You see them, like, you see random
But
ads
it's
everywhere all the
clearly
time.
yeah, but there's no like actual like set design reason for it to be a Pepsi Cola. Like you're trying to justify product placement in like any
Yeah, because
raw,
they're
relevant way
trying
possible.
to
That's
like
yeah, no, no.
villainize it. Because like who
yeah, no,
cares
like,
about the
who cares-
Pepsi?
Who cares if all the
product
bad guys are
placement?
driving the exact same Chevrolet SUV? It's just maybe the bad guy really likes Chevrolet.
I don't know what a Chevrolet is.
you know when there's like a chase sequence and all the bad guys are driving the exact same fucking car with like the logos on display, and it's like. No, because you haven't seen enough superhero movies. You see, you haven't.
You lost me
seen
there.
how-
No, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. And I mean the other bit of Pepsi product placement is Cassie gets invited to the cookout, to the baby shower. Yeah, and she's holding a Pepsi can for the whole of this scene, like 2 hands, like logo out. it's supposed to be an important scene as well, where she's like having flash forwards and
Yeah.
everything and visions. But she's holding this Pepsi can the entire time, so I already couldn't take it seriously. And I know that you didn't notice this, but the Pepsi can was CG replaced. It genuinely was. It's so noticeable to me. Because
To you.
with the time period thing,
Yeah.
I think they shot with the wrong can. I think they shot with like a 1990s like Pepsi can, and then they realized, oh shit, it's 2003 now. And they had to digitally replace the Pepsi can.
Well, good for them
And
for
it's
fixing
so
it.
obvious. It's so obvious. Like the blue stands out, the shadows are not working. It was so
wasn't-
distracting for me in that
Like,
scene,
I
that Pepsi can.
was not paying attention to a Pepsi can.
I
Like,
had to because it was a CGI Pepsi
But I
can.
also think like it didn't take away anything from that scene. Like, cause it's like I did not care about
It distracted
Pepsi.
me a lot, so...
Yeah, because you were already not paying attention to the film. Like,
No, I was paying attention to that scene where they dance around the name of the child because they want it to be a big, like, sort of plot reveal moment that the child's name is Peter. It's Peter Parker.
yeah, I got that.
No,
Yeah.
Peter Parker's in the movie. He got born because it's Uncle Ben. He's the uncle of the child is called Ben. It's Uncle Ben.
Yeah, and Mother
And Cassie knew
Mary,
Uncle
whatever.
Ben, who dies. So it's like not even right. Sorry, spoilers
Did
for
he
the first.
die?
No, he dies in Spider-Man.
Oh. No, thank you.
He dies in every continuity of Spider-Man.
Never saw that, actually.
You said you've seen like 2 Spider-Man movies. That's enough to know that Uncle Ben dies.
I've never even heard of Uncle Ben before.
So now you know that he is lying about seeing the first Spider-Man. Again,
Yeah.
you saw Spider-Man 3, where Uncle Ben was already dead for 2 movies.
No, I saw, like...
You didn't see Spider-Man
Red had
1.
MJ, where the movie where they got together for the first time. She didn't know.
In
who-
which case, Uncle Ben dies. He fucking
Yeah,
he gets
it was
shot by
obviously-
a mugger.
And it was obviously relevant, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
this whole backstory.
Who's?
Great,
Uncle
Spider-Man's.
I did not really pay attention to like Spider-Man. I'm not really into him. Like, to me, he was like kind of like a side character.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, like the star of the movie was MJ actually for me,
Yeah.
and their relationship. Like everything else was like fine, I guess. Uncle Ben, who you know.
I'm disappointed that there wasn't an upside down kissing scene in Madam Web, personally.
There was no love interest, which I kind of like. She was like kind of. I love that they didn't give her like a love interest, because like it's very stereotypical for like a female badass superhero to suddenly like get like in love with someone, especially when she's like Cassie was like really like standoffish, sarcastic and stuff like that. They always give them a random love interest, and where she's like, yeah, she's actually gonna open up to someone, and I love that they avoided doing that and just made her like a single iconic woman.
No, I love avoiding that trope, but then it does the equally problematic thing that, of course, she can't have a love interest because she ends up disabled at the end.
I don't think that's a. Are you saying that disabled people cannot date?
No, I'm saying that the filmmakers might have thought that, because how would it work if she ends up being
now
Madam
you're
Web and does
stretching
that?
it. Like.
But also, because they needed to do like the whole virtue signaling, it's like a feminist team up badass moment, you know?
And it is. I didn't see it like as.
Which like yeah, if you're making it like a feminist team up badass like girl boss moment,
Yeah.
then like yeah, it makes sense to have a love interest as well.
Yeah, but I didn't see it as I didn't think that movie was trying to be like feminist. I think it was because like obviously for
No, it
strong
was
female
like
characters.
purely in the representation, and it definitely wasn't like virtue signaling in any of the other themes, which like is sure fine, but like also it probably should be a bit of a theme. Like, you can, like, tell a feminist message if you're going to put so much effort into the diversity of
No,
the cast.
I feel like it inherently tells a feminist message just by being like a movie about one main female superhero and then adding three more female characters that are all like equally important for the plot. I just think that makes it like, yeah.
I mean, I guess
girl
equally
boss.
important for the plot, but I don't think it would have changed if you just replaced the three girls with one girl. I don't think that would have changed the plot in the slightest.
I think it would.
I don't think it would have at all. It could have equally been one girl, and it wouldn't have changed any of the stakes
No,
of
it
the
would,
story.
because like the whole point of them being there being the three of them is like, what are the chances of three girls being at the same time at the same place?
Because her web connects them all.
Exactly. Like, now you're getting to it. Like,
Tagline.
exactly.
No, because it would like to have this theme of like fate and whatever, but
Yeah.
it doesn't play about with it enough. It doesn't like. And also, four spider people in the same movie is also just kind of like lessening the importance of any of their powers.
No, and
Because why do
actually-
three of them need to exist in order to defeat one bad guy? Why do three spider women have to be swinging around New York at the same time that Spider-Man potentially would be?
No,
Like-
actually, I love that they did that because they they basically said, yeah, we have four superheroes, but only one of them is going to save the day. Because like the three of them, it wasn't their like origin story or anything. It was Madam Web's origin story, and you have three side characters who will potentially become superheroes.
Have you
Well-
seen Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, can you explain why Madam Web is not just the worst Birds of Prey?
I.
You want to sit in there and be quiet? Yeah, yeah.
Feel free to
You're
add.
a spectator.
Because we tried to start at like the start of the film, and we ended up like
Going
somewhere.
so off topic
Yeah.
immediately.
And also, can you actually check that it's recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a circle with a red square.
Okay, Red Square. Yeah, it's
Okay,
recording.
But yeah, so how is Madam Web not just a bad Birds of Prey?
I don't think Birds of Prey are bad, so I don't.
No,
like,
no, no. As in, like, how is Madam Web not just a worse version of Birds of Prey?
I don't understand.
It's like they're like the
Then-
same movie.
They're not.
No, on a base level, because they still follow like the basic superhero plot structure.
No,
And it's
like
a theme
I.
of like female badasses teaming up against the big bad guy villain
No,
to-
actually not at all.
is trying to
First
take
of
him
all,
out.
Birds of Prey has Harley Quinn, who's an already existing character. Like there was no like real origin story. She's like already exists. We already know her character. There's no like additional character building, if that makes sense. Like there is like some development, but like you don't need to like build her whole character.
Well, it is kind of her solo movie. She has an arc for like looking after that younger girl. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Like that. It is in a way her origin story because she hasn't had like room to breathe in any movie prior.
I
She's
think
been
it's-
surrounded in an ensemble cast.
I don't really see it that way because I think she is an already like developed character. We just got to see another side of her, if that makes sense. in
But
that
it's like the
movie.
first time that she's like separate from the Joker, and it's like her being her own person. In a way, it really is her origin story, because Suicide Squad.
To be fair,
does
I
not,
also
like,
don't
set her up,
understand
like,
the
at all.
timeline of Suicide Squad. I don't know like what happens when, so if I'm being completely honest.
But Birds of Prey is the first important movie with Harley Quinn in.
Yeah.
So it is pretty much her origin story because Suicide Squad doesn't set up like fucking jack shit. It does the basic stuff of Harley Quinn was a psychiatrist for the Joker and then falls in love with the Joker and then they fall
Yeah.
into acid together. Whatever, that's like the basic stuff.
Yeah.
The Uncle Ben being shot moment.
I don't know who Uncle Ben is. Just so we're being honest.
What do you mean though?
I actually love having live audience. So
I was gonna be a silent.
You're our
watcher,
producer.
but now I'm like.
Yeah.
So we need a fourth camera actually.
we need like the other angle.
Yeah. Like behind the scenes.
What's the name of like Joe Rogan's like producer?
Not Benny. I know exactly who you're on about though.
Yeah, I can't
So
remember.
the cold ones video.
Play the clip.
Anyway.
But yeah, like,
I'm getting
so Birds of Prey is pretty much Harley Quinn's origin story, and she comes across all these loose, not really heroes, don't know what they're doing,
And also-
girl bosses, and brings them together to kill Ewan McGregor, who is, like, being an asshole to all of them.
But also, Harley Quinn is not a hero in any way.
She's an anti-hero.
She's quite literally, like, from the get-go set up as, like, not a hero. She's, like, in my opinion, actually...
But that's also, like, part of Birds of Prey, is, like, her acknowledging that the whole time, and then she ends up doing something actually quite heroic.
Yeah, at the same time, she's killing people.
Yeah, like an
Like,
anti-hero.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you can't really compare, like, someone like Harley Quinn to someone like Madame Web. Like, I think it's...
No, I'm comparing them as ensemble girl boss superhero movies.
I think that's actually misogynistic, so... Yeah, No, but, like, genuinely, I don't want to, like, put women
I'm
against
saying
each
that Birds
other.
of Prey is good. And Madame Web is a bad version of Birds of Prey.
So you're saying one woman is worse than the other?
One group of women, actually, yeah.
That's even worse. That's like intersectional misogyny.
Speaking of intersectional misogyny, I love how the cast is so perfectly selected to be like the three racial groups you think about when you think of America. It's like you have the white girl, the Mexican girl, and the black girl.
And what's wrong about that?
Absolutely nothing, except the Mexican girl gets no development whatsoever. Anya, you told me her name was, because I can't remember any of their names. She gets no development.
Wait, is it
at
Julia,
all.
Anya, and I forgot the third one, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, like, Anya doesn't get any development whatsoever. You argued to me after we saw it that her stereotype was that she was supposed to be, like, the more scientific, like, medically inclined one to mirror Cassie's character.
Which is
I
obvious.
didn't get any of that at all, except
How?
for the one line when she, like, talks about science at, like, the very beginning when they're doing their whole stereotype shtick and fighting with each other.
No, actually, she also had, like, lines when she was in a taxi and Peter Parker's mom was giving birth to him, and she was like, "Oh my God, she's something."
Oh, I might have
birth,
went to pee
pregnancy.
actually during that bit.
Okay, see, so you actually missed a really important part. And also
I went to pee one time.
And also, she's obviously like a mini Cassie, because they had a whole bonding moment about both of them not having their mothers. And also, in that scene...
But then it's also like the most stereotypical like backstory. It's like, oh no, why wouldn't the Mexican girl have her parents? And she's like, my dad got deported. It's like, yeah, okay. Could be
Yeah, and
anything
I
else.
almost cried, because that's like such a... That's actually so real.
But it's like, how else do you write it for a Mexican character, I guess?
I think it's one
like-
of those things where, yeah, I agree, it is stereotypical, and it's definitely not on me to like say if it's good
It's
or
more
bad.
just like lazy.
But I feel like it's also something that actually happens, and it's like a huge, and it is a part of a lot of people who are like Mexican in the US. So I think it's important to like bring light to those stories, even though even if it's just like a side like backstory.
I guess so, but it only stands out to me because it's like one of the only bits of backstory that we ever get from her, and because I thought that she got zero other development whatsoever.
I kind of feel like
it's like,
yeah.
oh, like the one character trait is that she's into science, and she's Mexican, and that's it.
I
That's
think
all they
like
did for
I
that
think that's
character.
actually a you problem, like but
no,
like
I think it's
genuinely.
a writing problem.
I think like you're not like I think you didn't kind of pay too much attention to her, because I like one of my favorite scenes with her is when they're in that like fireworks like factory, and they're
Yeah.
supposed to like put those things to make it explode.
when they're in the firework factory and the fireworks hit the wall in a perfect way to make a perfectly human-shaped hole for them to all run through.
Yeah,
so
because-
conveniently.
No,
As fireworks are known to do, they create perfectly human-shaped holes.
No, that's actually
It's
supposed...
shaped like a door.
Yeah, because no, like, have you seen the movie? So like,
Yes!
Cassie can see.
She can control the fireworks to explode it into the shape of a
No,
fucking door.
Cassie literally saw every possible future for that, and that's how she decided on what to do. Because like
So she saw the future where the firework hit that wall in a very specific way to be the
Yeah.
perfect shape for them to all
because
fit
it is
through.
like the whole point
But
is
she didn't like manipulate it. She just saw it. She didn't
Yeah,
do
and
anything to make that
she
happen.
did because like
just,
she told them
saw
to
it.
place those like explosives in a certain places, and she did place them like in a certain places to make it explode in a way that it did.
That it creates a
Like-
perfect.
Yeah,
Like
the
5'4" shape.
No, 'cause, like, the
for
whole
them to all,
sequence
like climb through.
of them in that factory was her like looking into different futures to
so
determine on
cool.
what to do. Like I think it actually made perfect sense.
It would be, yeah, but like no, it would make perfect sense if just the shape of the hole was different. If the hole was just round, I'd be okay with it. But it's not. It's literally perfectly like 5'6" woman shape for them to all fit through. Like it's like a hole
I
in the
actually
wall. It's
personally
so
don't like
convenient.
really shoot fireworks into walls in my free time, so I wouldn't know what happens. Like if I'm being honest,
It's so convenient. All it had to be was a different shape, and it would be fine. Like it's just lazy.
I think
sense.
you're really like clinging to the smallest things, because like who cares about the wall
I
shape?
think you're doing so much work for the movie, personally.
They need to pay me.
We both just cried at that when it happened. We were like, what the fuck is this shit?
It's
I
because
was-
it's one of every bit, especially in that
No, like
final
I
scene.
was too
Because again,
like in
like,
tears to,
bearing
like,
in
to
mind
actually pay attention.
The Pepsi ad is on top of a firework factory.
I can't go through that again. Like, yeah, it is. Why wouldn't it be? Like, who the fuck cares? Like, let it be there.
Who the fuck cares should actually be the subtitle for the movie. I feel like that's what the filmmakers are saying the entire time. Madam Webco and who the fuck cares? That should be the subtitle. Because I genuinely believe that nobody fucking cared at all while making it.
I cared.
Dakota Johnson didn't, and honestly that made it more entertaining.
No, I think she did amazing, like, with
At
her
playing
acting.
herself. I don't think she was acting like at
At
all
all.
throughout that movie, which I'm fine with because it did make it more entertaining. I think she is fun to watch when she plays herself. That's fine. As far as the other acting goes, again, the villain was fucking awful. I thought his performance was terrible, regardless of the ADR. I think his line delivery was just awful, and so flat, and you didn't get any sense of who he is as a character.
I personally don't want to insult somebody else's work. No, like...
That's why you're being nice to this movie.
No, I actually didn't mind any of the acting. I thought it was, like, fine. I think, like, if it looked bad in certain, like, scenes, I think it's more, like... I don't know, maybe like I think it's their acting problem, because like the actors seem
which
to
is
do
like the whole movie, the directing. That's like typically
no,
the
like
whole
everything
thing.
else was amazing. No, actually, I did like the acting. I didn't mind the acting like in any of the scenes.
I
to be
thought
fair.
the acting was fine from everybody else, except there was one scene, the first scene with Sydney Sweeney,
Yeah.
which also made me fucking laugh. Because Cassie saves her stepmom,
Yeah.
and she comes up to her and is like trying to be like, thank you,
Yeah.
whatever. And they're both acting quite awkward in this interaction, and she does a whole like, oh, sorry, I'm just gonna like go or whatever. And I turned to Robin and I was like, I literally act like that. There is a scene where I act that exact scene in
Yeah,
Wizard Society,
yeah,
my
yeah.
short film.
No, I genuinely
I
think
act
it
as
was-
well as Sydney Sweeney does in that movie. I am not an actor, I do not claim
I
to
think
be.
it was. I think for that scene, I understand why you feel that way, but I feel like it's For me, I didn't really look into it because it's just like they're both being purposely like so awkward. So like it just adds to that for me. Like I don't think it's like a big deal. I don't think it's like a bad performance. You know what I mean?
Okay. What else do you have to say? I feel like I keep getting like distracted on things that I hate. What are some things that you love about the movie?
I like Cassie's character in general. Like I
also like Dakota Johnson.
not just her, but like the character itself. I think what I like is the way that they made like a lot of like Cassie's scenes very casual, but also you have that conscious of her like actually having to save everyone. I don't know how to explain. So like my example is when she's trying to climb on a wall.
Yeah, with her cat named Cat.
Yeah, first of all, love that. That suits her character so much.
With her cat named Cat. Yeah.
Girl is named Web. Like, yes. What did you expect her to name a cat?
Yeah, it's character appropriate, really.
No, like I love that
Yeah.
actually. No, like she just falls down the wall and immediately goes to Peru. Like I think
I'm glad
that's,
that you're doing the job of fighting against this movie for me.
No, I think that's so iconic actually. Like I think no, but when you think about it, like that fits her character so much because she's like, yeah, like whatever casual, I'm gonna climb on a wall and then fall down and be embarrassed about it in front of my cat named
And then
Cat.
immediately
And-
go to Peru.
And she's immediately like, no, yeah, I actually have a thing to do, and I'm gonna do it. Like she's gonna stand on business, and I love that for her. Like I truly think like her character is very well written.
Okay,
Yeah.
so something else that I thought of, which the Peru thing reminded me of. Why is she so hung up on her mum when she never met her mum ever? But, like, surely your dad would have, like, similar importance if you've also never met your dad, right? Like, who's the fuck? Why is it, like, a dead mum thing? Like, who's the dad? Surely both parents would be equally important if you've never met either of them. She never met either of them. So, like, why does she care?
I
You know?
think that's also. I feel like here, it's really just like you not like thinking too much about the characters and
No,
taking...
this is me thinking about it. The more I think about it, the more I hate it.
No, I think you're taking things at like face value because like think about it actually. She doesn't no, but think about it. She doesn't know anything about her dad, like anything, right?
But she has the big law box for her mum that
Yeah.
explains all of the plot to her.
So if she doesn't know anything about her dad, why would she be mad at a man whose name she doesn't even know? But she knows that her mother went to Peru on purpose while
she
was...
knows that she was studying spiders in the jungle before she
Yeah.
died. Yeah.
While she was 9 months pregnant with her.
Yeah,
Like, she
yeah.
knew it was dangerous and she still went. Like, of course, Cassie is going to be annoyed with it because, like, in her head, she's like, oh yeah, my mom truly did not care for
But
that
also,
pregnancy.
she's like 30. Do you not have like anything more important going on with your life at that point? Have
Yeah,
you not
I
like
think
built yourself as a person more to like care about like the literal moment of your birth? I get it's like kind of important and
I
like
think-
in a plot way. If you're thinking about this as like a real person, if there was a 30-year-old still hung up about the fact that like their mum died before they were born.
Yeah! Because, like, it sets your whole life up, like, so
But apparently, like, her foster life wasn't even bad or whatever.
Did
so
you
it's
see
like,
her?
She was fine.
Like, she was not doing that well.
She
Like,
became a paramedic. She's doing fine for herself. She's got like a decent life.
Yeah, and
she's
she-
living in a New York apartment
and she
that's pretty fucking big.
could-
In like 2003, has a job as a paramedic. She's doing fine for
and
herself.
could not
Why is
be
she so
more
mad at her mom?
emotionally unavailable than she is. Like, like, her whole, like, standoffish attitude, like, where she doesn't really interact with people, she actually doesn't have any friends and stuff like
But
that.
that's such like a nothing character flaw. I can't feel bad for her at that point. It's like, oh, maybe like a little bit of asshole. Just go to therapy. She goes to therapy. Go to therapy.
No,
she can afford a therapist. She
she'll
has a
lit-
great life.
No,
why
she'll
do I
literally
feel? Why should I feel bad about her?
Said
that
she
her mom
hates
died
going
before
to
she died?
therapy. Like, she hates working on herself. That's why she's still stuck up on her mother dying in childbirth, because she never actually put any work into her mental health. Like she's coping with like working and being a loser, like a loner, and not like having friends.
So just like get over it, make some friends.
I don't know, like yeah,
Yeah, right.
No,
Like,
yeah, in a
she
sense,
had, like, a
like
fine
yeah, you
foster
want
life.
like if
She
you don't
says,
get
like,
it,
a
you
foster isn't that bad, and it's like, okay, cool.
she said that to a girl whose both parents are not there. She said that to Anya, whose father is deported and mother
But
is
it's
dead.
not like we learn anything else about her childhood. I feel like her 30 years of life experience should be a bit more important in developing her character than like the thing that literally happened before she was born. I feel
think-
like her upbringing, like her foster parents, like that situation would have had more of a bearing on that character than who her mum was, considering she never knew her.
I think you don't know enough.
About
be-
human psychology.
No,
and
I
dead
don't
parents.
think you have enough experience with people who went through something like that to actually realize how much of a big deal that is. Like, no offense, I genuinely think like you lack some empathy towards that, because like being in foster care will not fix anything for any child. Like, it's actually a horrible experience, no matter how good her foster parents are, because like a child growing up in foster care will still be stuck up on the fact that their parents left them or died or whatever happened. In Cassie's case, it's her mother not caring enough
No, I
and like
think it
going
would
to
make sense for like a coming of age thing, but she's like a fully grown woman with like a job, and she's still like well adjusted enough that like I don't feel bad for her. She's well adjusted enough. I don't care that she's like a bit of an asshole, and that's her like one character flaw.
yeah, I
that
just,
was caused
no,
by
I genuinely
her
think
mum
you
dying before
if
she
you
was
don't get it,
born.
you don't get it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah,
like, we
she's
can
also
move
like
on.
not having like mental breakdowns and like panic attacks all the time. Like, she's doing a really stressful job and being okay with it. It doesn't seem like it affects her much at all until like it becomes plot relevant, because the one thing that her mum left her is the plot relevant C box where she can
And that-
find out all of the lore information for the movie conveniently.
First of all, we literally, the beginning of the movie, we saw her going through that box, like still like reminiscing of her mother. Like, literally the first scene of Cassie was Cassie like looking at a picture of her mother.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it doesn't seem to impact her like life that much.
We didn't get enough of her life to determine that.
Well, then maybe we should get more of her life. This is
It's
what
a
I'm saying.
superhero movie. Like, what
This is
more
what
do
I'm
you
saying.
want?
I'm saying it should have more character development. Yeah, I'm saying spend less time on all of like the like pointless superhero stuff and actually develop your characters.
But then it wouldn't be like that.
It's like, to be fair, it is barely a superhero movie as it is. But like,
What do
yeah.
you mean? Like,
As in,
it's
like, there's barely
obviously-
any like action because it's all in like flash forward or whatever.
I forgot the villain's name. But the spider
No,
villain,
Ezekiel
Ezekiel
yeah.
was trying to kill them throughout the whole movie. I think there was enough action, actually.
Yeah, which also, like, it is completely unbelievable, especially at the start before, like, Cassie has control of her powers, that they could escape Ezekiel.
Why?
Because you see him take out 5 police officers, like, that are right next to them as they're running away through the subway. Ezekiel, he takes out every single police officer by just, like, grabbing them from the shadows. He's moving, like, so quick. He's immediately, like, grabbing people by the throat and poisoning them and killing them immediately. And Cassie does not have control of her powers at this point. She's just running through the subway. Like, she
Yeah.
gets, like, put in handcuffs by a police officer. So there's no excuse, like, Cassie just knew or whatever. He had every opportunity to murder all of them if he spent the time to murder 5 police officers, you know? And then they walk out on the street and it's like, oh no, we're just, like, fine now. And then still his CGI suit looked so goofy, like constantly with him crawling up the wall and jumping over the cars. The bit where Cassie's mum gets carried like to the pool of revival, to the pool of superhero origins.
Yeah.
Like that bit where they're jumping through the trees, it honestly reminds me of Twilight. Like that
Yeah, a
sort of
little
like
bit.
special effects
I like
level.
Twilight.
Yeah, which I think Twilight is much better than Madam Web, but I guess similar.
I don't like it that much.
I don't think you can. But then, and that's a lovely bit.
Around your face.
But then, but like Twilight, those bits especially have like that level of, oh, this is fucking goofy and ridiculous.
I
Who made this
actually
choice?
loved the like action scenes in Madam Web. Like genuinely, I really enjoyed them.
I think the flash forwards were fine, except
Not
for
that, like those are irrelevant. Like the actual like Cassie versus Ezekiel.
But
not-
like, I just straight up don't believe that Cassie would ever be able to get away from Ezekiel with these three girls. Like,
You
he's
don't-
so powerful.
we are circling back to misogyny, I think. Like
No, because
it's a-
he takes out like 5 police officers. It's not. It's not just that they're women. It's that there are 5 police officers standing right next to them, and he's not just grabbing the girls by the feet. Like, well, that
I
he's wanting
would-
to kill to save his
I
wife.
would never take that stance against not 1 but 4 women. Like that's actually insane.
I love how many opportunities you're using to like turn this into like a personal me problem with the movie.
No, but like
Because you know how morally abhorrent the opinion of liking Madam Web is. You feel like you need to put some of that shade on me.
No, I didn't think it was a good movie. No, but like him not grabbing them and them escaping, I didn't think too much about it because it's just like an iconic moment. Like, because she saw that he would kill them in that train, so she started. So like she was ahead of him. Like she was like.
Yeah, but no, but he was literally like there. He was in the same place. Like the cops are disappearing from like around them. Like they're in like the same like actual place. Why can't he just target the girls? Why is he wasting time killing like 5 police officers before
Yeah,
getting to
but
the
like
girls?
if you think about it that way, I personally feel like you could find a flaw like that in like almost every like action superhero movie because like
Oh yeah,
you need some
absolutely.
plot armor to be fair.
Yeah, no,
Like,
and it is a flaw in every superhero movie. Plot armor is a hole in
yeah,
every
and
movie.
I don't mind it in this. Like in general, actually.
You just don't mind plot armor. I do mind plot armor. I will criticize plot armor.
I think
in
it's such
any
a tiny
film.
thing in this one that I truly do not care about it because
Okay, there was one action beat that I actually liked, and it was the defibrillator on the ambulance roof.
that was
That-
amazing. Yeah,
That was the one bit where I was like,
That
okay,
was
that's
iconic.
kind of clever. Okay.
No, yeah, definitely.
But then
I don't know if
the
it would
way he
actually
like
work.
Rubber Man falls off the roof is so funny, because again the CGI is not that good.
I did
Um,
not see like any CGI actually.
You thought the spider was real. You thought like the big
No, genuinely,
CGI rubber cartoon.
I
spider
did
was real.
not think that like CGI was bad. Like I thought it
In the
was
final
really
fight scene when
realistic.
in the final fight scene where Ezekiel is just kind of like swatting these girls all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
he hits Anya and she like fucking flies across this building, grabs onto like
Icon.
a bit of
But I also think your problem
So
is
unreal.
that you went
She
into
becomes
the
a
cinema
rubber.
with an already developed like opinion of I'm not gonna like this actually.
Oh no, I
Like-
did know that I wasn't gonna like it, but I would
See?
equally rip into a movie that I was going into like. I
I love
haven't.
that.
I have like this much to say about like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness or like whatever. Like I
Yeah.
can rip into any of those superhero movies that I go in
Yeah.
fully wanting to like. So it's definitely
No.
not that. It's like I can be disappointed about a movie,
Yeah.
and then there's this situation where I was actually blown away by how
Me
entertaining
too.
it actually was. No, I was scared that it was just going to be boring bad. It's not just boring bad. It is hilarious, pure entertainment.
No, I feel like no. Back to the CGI thing. This might be a me thing now, but I truly did not notice the CGI being bad. Like genuinely, like I truly did not like.
That's
for
fair
any
enough.
scene, I did not think like, oh my god, this is such a bad CGI.
No, that is fair enough. I do just have like an eye.
Yeah,
for
so
it,
like I
but-
actually cannot tell you if it was good or bad, like objectively, because just like for me, it was fine.
To be fair, it was bad in a way that modern superhero movies are.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not going to say that it was abhorrent, except for the Pepsi can replacement. That was ridiculous. But it was bad in a way that, like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania,
never seen that, but yeah.
or like Black Panther is bad, where it's just like rubber people jumping on cars and punching each other. It's
Okay.
bad in that way, whereas, like, again, because I've seen 30 superhero
Yeah.
movies, I'm used to it. And I can spot it from a mile away.
Okay.
I was gonna talk about something else. Go for it.
No, I just wanted to say, like, I actually really enjoyed the action scenes if we take away the CGI, because, like, I did not care about it.
Yeah.
I think, like, the first one where in the train when they were running away from him, I think they actually followed that. I think they did the perfect job of making them intense in the way I like it. So it's like she is having this multiple visions of the future, and, like, it takes her a little bit longer to actually, like, accept and realize what's happening. Like, and I also think, like, the girls being three of them instead of one really adds to that, because, like, she saw three different girls being murdered, and it's like that's horrible, but she's still just, like, sitting there, and it takes her some time to actually get up and be like, yeah, we gotta go.
I guess so, but you could just write, like, less of an asshole of a character. Because also, like, there was like, I say I was enjoying Johnson's performance, but there was one scene in the back of the taxi after they get away from Ezekiel at the diner.
Yeah.
And she's, like, telling them off, you know, and really ripping into them all, like, just like, God, you're so fucking useless, you're pathetic, you're yada yada yada, like, being just so mean to them.
Yeah.
And of course, this is like, and I know what you're gonna say is, like, it makes sense for her character, whatever.
It does.
Cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense for her character, whatever. But you've written such a dick, such an asshole, that she is, like, ripping into these children for their, like, very naive and understandable mistake.
Yeah.
When she was the one who told them to wait in a forest for 3 hours.
Yeah,
Which is ridiculous. Just wait in this forest for 3 hours, I'm gonna go do something. It's fucking crazy to me. And then she gets mad when something, like, bad happens because they got bored and went to a diner. Of course, they're teenagers. What do you
and
think
I'm
was gonna
totally on
happen?
her side there. Like, she had
And
every right to
even
do
if you
all
are,
of that.
while she is, like, ripping into them and just being mean, and they're all just getting progressively more upset as she is, like, ripping into them, this heroic soundtrack starts playing. It starts playing, like, heroic superhero music. Like, as she is, like, ripping into them. Me and Robin are laughing again. Because this heroic soundtrack is playing while she's just telling them how fucking useless and dumb they are for
Literally
what they
did not notice that.
And
I was
figures
probably
that
too
it's,
busy crying.
it's genuinely like the filmmakers realized, like, how grim of a scene they wrote of this adult woman just, like, ripping into these teenagers
I
who
actually
just
loved
don't
that
know
scene.
better.
I think it was
Like,
really,
But they realized
big.
that the scene was, like, way too dark and the tone was just jarring. And so they decided, oh, we're gonna put some, like, uplifting superhero music over the top of it while she's ripping into these other. That'll fix the problem. And it absolutely doesn't.
Yeah, I
It
did
just
not
makes
actually hear the music. Like, I
it just
heard
makes
zero
it feel
soundtrack.
so out of place.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I did not hear that. But also the diner scene, like the fight scene in the diner, chef's kiss. Like, honestly, like, I think I was almost crying there. Maybe I was crying.
Is it a really feminist message that all these teenage girls just can't resist the hot schoolboys over there? Like, they're gonna
have you met a teenage
risk
girl?
their entire lives to dance on the table for these football boys or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was a
And
great...
yes, I have met teenage girls.
No, I think it was a great... I think it was a bit male gazy. I will totally admit that. Especially Sydney Sweeney's character was, like, really,
And
like...
they're all like 16.
Yeah, like, I get behind that. Like, Sydney Sweeney's character was, like, pure male gaze, like, the way she was dressed and stuff like
Even
that.
though she's supposed to be, like, the reserved, nerdy one, she's the one who's, like, starting to flirt with them. And then they all get dragged into it. Surely one of them can be, like, a voice of reason, which, like, Anya was trying to be, but then even she gets dragged into it because, oh, girls just can't resist the hot football boys or whatever.
Yeah, I like that scene if we take away the male gaze, especially on Sydney Sweeney, because, like, it shows them that it shows the audience they are just teenage girls, and, like, they.
But, like, I wasn't not thinking that before they danced on the table for a bunch of fucking football boys.
No, I think it shows the part of their character where it's like, even though they're all, like, kind of mature because they all have, like, shitty backstories, they just cannot take things too seriously because they are teenagers. Like at one point they're going to be overwhelmed, and they found this one like little thing that they can just like relax. At least they thought they could. And they just did it, and like I get that completely. Like I think it would be
Yeah, but why did they feel safe? I get that they're like naive, but like,
Yeah, like, that's
the
the-
fact that like the thing that tempted them, the apple in the Garden of Eden was just some fucking football boys or whatever.
it was
Like
a
it's
bit-
so stereotypical. It's so easy. It's lazy.
I think,
And
it was a
kind
bit
of
mo-
misogynistic.
I think it was a bit more than that. It was Julia who was like eyeing the boys, and the girl whose name I cannot remember, she was like, yeah, go talk to them. So the two of them started dancing, and Anya could not care less, but she was like FOMO, you know? So she went to like dance with them.
I
and
understand the structure of the scene. I'm just saying I don't like it. I'm
Yeah,
saying
well,
I think it's dumb.
See, that's a you problem,
and
because I love that.
contrived.
Like, I think it makes sense for the characters and for the plot, and I think it's like a nice
Yeah,
addition
it
to
does
it.
forward the plot. That is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like things just happen in this movie to forward the plot. It's like they would have been so safe at Ben's house
Yeah.
if the pregnancy conveniently didn't happen 2 weeks early. It's like I know. Oh, it makes sense because she's
Have you?
pregnant. They set up that she's pregnant. Have you been around? I feel like you don't know pregnant women. I feel like you've just never been around a pregnant person. No, I understand how pregnancy works. I understand that logically people have babies 2 weeks early sometimes. I get that. I understand that. My point is the only reason it was in the script was because they needed the plot to happen. They needed Cassie to come back and realize that they're not there so that Ezekiel finds out where they are, because for some reason they have to come with Ben to the hospital as
Yeah,
she's
have
giving
you
a
ever
child.
watched a movie? Like, things happen.
Goodbye.
I'm doing something now.
Aw, have fun. I
That's
love
a
you.
little fish.
Love that.
Oh.
Yeah,
like-
have you ever seen a movie? Like, things need to happen. Like, especially if the movie takes time over, like, more than a few hours. Like, if the timeline is longer than, like, one day, things need to happen to further the plot. I think it's just, like, fine.
No, it's convenient. You can write a plot that isn't entirely based on convenience. Something's just happening because they need to happen. Like, you can write a story where the plot is motivated by characters rather than by random events happening to people. That is possible.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, because it was just, like, things happen. Like, it's like...
Yeah, but in such a high-stakes situation, they should have just stayed inside.
And let the poor woman give birth at home?
No, Ben would go with her, and they can just stay in Ben's by themselves and wait for Cassie to get back, which was literally like 5 minutes after they left.
No,
Which is, again, extremely convenient. If Cassie showed up like 5 minutes earlier, then it would have been fine.
I think okay, I was also, I will admit, I was kind of confused why they went with him, but then I was
Yeah.
like, it actually, I think in my head it makes sense, because it's like, he's supposed to protect them, he has no idea what's actually happening, so he took them with him because he thought that was gonna be safer, and they're like three teenagers.
And to be fair, they don't know that the villain has the fictional NSA look for anybody anywhere in
exactly.
2003
Yeah.
super technology.
Yeah.
Which probably does exist now, 20 years later. Again, it takes place in
I'm not gonna comment on
2003.
technology,
They
I
have
don't know
like
about that, so-
infinite face scanning technology that can find them like immediately the second they go outside
Yeah,
by looking at
I-
any camera or whatever. And
I'm
it's
truly
like,
not bothered by that, because like she can also see the future, and I don't think that's like too realistic, you know. So like having some weird technology is the least of the like any movie's problems ever. So
I guess so. I
if
guess
it's like
so.
it's made up actually, if you're no.
You know it's fictional. You know it's,
It's
fictional, right?
like it's not a documentary, like, not a real story actually. So, spider
Oh.
people actually don't live in Peru, so
Oh. Okay. You reminded me again of Peru. the lighting in the forest.
I actually
they
cannot
shot.
pronounce it that way. Like, it makes me physically
You need to
ill.
roll the
Yeah.
R. No, you said it Peru the first time.
Yeah, and I
corrected
almost
yourself.
died. Like I felt it here. Like I was not okay.
I'm
But yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I just felt like I needed to like disclaim that.
Your Europeans coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I can tell that they shot, like, on location for the jungle.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a volume soundstage. That's
Yeah.
fair.
I actually
But then they
can't tell
light
that.
it. But then they light it so harshly
Mm.
that you don't get any of the natural lighting from the jungle, and it just looks like they're on a fucking set again. They lit it so, like, plainly.
Yeah.
And had light come from all angles so that everything is again lit like a TV show.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
don't
what's the
know.
point in shooting on location if you're just gonna light it like a sitcom anyway?
I've actually never been to a jungle. No, but like also
But the lighting isn't like that.
I don't know, like
It doesn't have perfect 3-point lighting.
I didn't really pay attention to that like at all. Like honestly, it wasn't.
I'm glad that you're not paying attention to lighting in our film podcast.
Yeah, because like why would I? No, because like I think I didn't know if they filmed on location or not. I just think like those are like kind of irrelevant details for me personally to enjoy the film. Like I would enjoy it even if like the lighting was like.
I do
natural
agree that
or
you
whatever.
go into a movie to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, because
And I do
why wouldn't
respect
I?
no, and I do respect that, right?
Yeah, because I always think like
Like,
if I'm paying money to like go to a cinema, why would I want
well, what
to?
if you watched it for free?
I
What
would
if you watched it for the
probably, I would
podcast?
probably still enjoy it because it's like I'm like spending my free time doing something like that. Like I would want to enjoy it as much as I can. So if there's something like ADR being bad, which there is, I will admit it, like it's horrible. Like I'm not gonna pay too much attention to that because like I don't care. Like it's not taking away from my experience of enjoying the movie. So like I'm still gonna watch it and have fun with it. Like and really like get into the plot itself, you know?
No, and that's the thing is that I did enjoy it, just not in a conventional sense. And that was
Yeah.
totally... I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. Because obviously, like, what I heard about Morbius was that it was just boring.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't even, like, funny bad. It was
Mm.
just fucking boring by the numbers superhero movie.
Yeah.
And heard that this one was, like, silly, ridiculous, crazy choices all over it.
Yeah.
And it stunned me, it amazed me.
I know, it
And
works.
so
for
I'm
me.
really excited for Craven the Hunter now.
Cool.
You're about to get cravened, you're about to get hunted by Craven.
I don't know if that is actually, I'm sorry.
It's the newest Sony Spider-Man Extended Universe movie.
Oh, if I liked Madam Web, I might like it.
You
You
might
never
like
know.
It, you might like it, yeah. Is
should-
Craven out? I'm not sure. I have no idea if Craven's
Literally,
out.
I've never heard of it. Anyway.
And Venom 3, the Sony Extended Universe, is coming along well.
I like Venom. I would probably like to watch Venom 3 on streaming platforms.
Venom versus the new established Spider-Woman.
I'm lost.
The-
In
the-
the Spider-Verse.
No, the Free and Madam Web.
Oh. No.
You can do that.
I think I don't know. I'm getting lost actually here. I'm sorry. Like I don't actually understand what's going on.
Yeah, you actually can't keep track of Extended Universe.
Yeah, no, like at all.
And I've already talked about this to you, but at the end, they remember that Madam Web is a comic book character, and so they have to immediately break her legs and make her blind in order to turn her into the comic book character.
And I will say again, like I did not notice that she was like in a wheelchair. Like I truly did not like get that in the end, and also I know nothing about the comic book like
It's just
character,
like-
so I truly cannot like comment on that.
Yeah,
if
like
she's,
all
like,
I
a
know
good-
is that she is disabled and blind and
Yeah.
sees the future. That's all I know about her. But like again, usually an origin story movie will set all of that up like partway through the movie or at the start. Like, Doctor Strange can't use his hands, so at the start he gets in a car crash, and then magic helps him fix his hands. You know?
I think
Like, it's that sort of thing.
yeah.
It's like if Captain America, like, only became Captain America in the last 5 minutes of the movie. If he got the serum and the outfit and the shield in, like, a post-credit scene. It's like that, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
but like this
and then they
is-
just made a movie about, like, who he was before he was Captain America.
But like this movie was literally how she became Madam Web, so I think it makes sense
and
for
it's
her
how
to like.
she got... It's how a normal woman got future-seeing powers.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, they remember that she is, like, a comic book character, and then just fucking, like... blind her and break her legs in order to turn her into...
Breaking the legs, I truly did not get that from a movie, so I don't know. But like the blinding her actually for me made like such perfect sense.
Yeah, in
'Cause
like
it's
a
like-
Daredevil way, like in a way that like the superpower negates the disability that
exactly.
you've been given. So
Like
it's like
she
not
can't
even
see,
good
but she can see the
representation.
future, and also it's like.
Yeah, but
Of
it's
course,
also...
she got blinded at the end because like the story wouldn't really make sense if she was blind before. Because she is a paramedic, she is living a normal life. She is not really struggling like when it comes to like physical stuff. So like, it makes sense to blind her after she gets like her powers and like.
Yeah, I
learns how
understand
to
that there's
use
like
them.
no real other way you can do that in the movie.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to write a
And
different
I
movie.
also,
But
like-
wouldn't it be cool if like it was actually a disabled protagonist from the start who like used a wheelchair and like was blind, and they found a way to write a movie about that character being able to see the future?
Yeah, but that's not
like
this
it's a
movie, like-
completely different movie, obviously.
Yeah,
But I'm
so-
saying like there's much more potential there. I'm more broadly talking about just the trope of a disabled character
Yeah.
getting a power
No, I
that
get that,
completely
yeah.
negates
No,
everything
definitely.
about their disability. It's like it means nothing that she's blind. It means absolutely nothing that she's blind. Like, and it's the same with somebody like Daredevil, right? Where it's like, oh, a blind person is going to feel so represented by somebody
Yeah, I
who
get
is
that,
blind
yeah.
but has a power that means that functionally they aren't blind. Like,
No, I got that completely, but I wanna say I like the way that they blinded her, like
with
it
a
was-
firework hitting
yeah,
her in the
actually, because I
face.
think it was like very aesthetically pleasing, because it was like
What if it hit her in like the shoulder or something?
I have-
Again, it's a matter of convenience.
But
It's
also, I
because
think
they
it's so
wanted her
cool
to be
that she got
blind.
blinded while she was like unconscious, so like she couldn't actually see it coming, you know, because she was literally drowning and like dying.
Yeah.
So she
yeah.
could not see it coming, so she got blinded at her weakest by a pure accident, which she could easily avoid if she was conscious
It
to
would
see
be
it.
cooler.
And I like that.
It would be cooler if it wasn't complete bullshit randomness, though. It would be cooler if it was like something that was inflicted on her by like a character, so you get to like hate that character more and it actually like means something.
No.
Her getting blinded at the end by a firework that randomly and conveniently hit her directly in the eyes in order to blind her before the post-credit scene where we see that she has magically became the the comic book character Madam Web.
No, I actually, for this, in general, I can agree, but like for this specific character, I actually really, really like that. Because, like, think about it, she can see the future, and like, it basically proves the point that every small, like, any small thing can actually, like, hurt you so much, especially when you don't see it coming. I think it's a kind of like a contrast almost with that bird in the beginning. She saw a bird die just because
You're
her...
working so hard to draw that parallel.
I think because I watched the movie and I liked it. Like, I think it's not working hard. I think it's actually paying like attention to different parts. Because like the bird died just because the window was closed, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna open it, but it's not gonna mean anything. You're still gonna die." The bird flew in, flew out, didn't die. Like, it's the smallest. Like, I think the whole movie. I think there are also a lot of coincidences, because like that's the point. Like, every small coincidence can like change. It can be like life or death. Literally.
Well, in which case they should have played around so much more with that whole butterfly effect thing. Because,
Yeah.
like, that's so interesting. Why don't you explore that more? Instead,
Yeah.
it's just like, she changes the future in one action.
No,
You
yeah.
never get to see how that butterfly affects out. You know, it's like, oh, I want to save the pigeon, I'm going to do this.
No, I actually
Like
agree.
this bad
Yeah.
thing's going to happen, I'm just going to do the thing that stops the bad thing from happening. What if, it messed around with butterfly effect stuff? That would be so cool, but it doesn't at all. It doesn't care for it because the whole fate and time travel mechanics are so shallow, ultimately.
No, I can kind of agree with that because I think it would be so interesting to see that whole butterfly effect. She saved the bird, but what happened because of that. But I
Yeah.
also think I don't know if that was intentional, but I'm fine with them not doing it because I feel like that's something that could lead the whole plot in a completely different directions. I think it was too much of a risk
completely
for.
different movie.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and you didn't get that, so go watch a different movie. I don't know what to
No,
tell
don't
you.
worry, I will. I won't watch this one again. No, of
You know
course,
what I
I won't
mean?
watch it again. I'm not threatening to.
I feel threatening.
You don't want to see me after I've seen it again and I've thought about it even more. Ruined all of the shit I'm gonna have to say then. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, so I definitely agree it would be super interesting to see the butterfly effect, but I also feel the movie did well enough without it. It didn't actually ruin it for me. So
Yeah, that's fair. But
but
at the end
yeah.
when she magically becomes Madam Web, both physically and also character-wise, and I already know you disagree with this, but she immediately becomes this very sage-like, very wise personality, just girls, welcome home. Yada yada yada. Oh, bless you, you're about to sneeze. She just transforms into Professor Xavier. Everything about her character before, everything about Cassie is completely erased because she's now just this sage wise old mentor figure to these girls and talking all oh, I see all, my third eye is open. Then it's where's the character that we just got to know? If she ever shows up in another movie, how the fuck are we going to recognize Cassie Webb from Madam Web? How are we going to recognize her as a character? It's a completely different character in that last 5 minute scene.
I think it's kind of two things for me with that. First one is I first of all I think it was a really short scene, so you can't get too much out of it. But also in my head, it's first of all, she is a completely different person because she went from Cassie Webb to Madam Web. Is a transition in her character development. We didn't see it fully full switch, but kind of get
No,
it.
they just time jump and she becomes the comic book character.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
kind of get that, but also I'm thinking imagine actually not seeing and only seeing the future. Because I think it's a problem because it was such a short scene. I don't know how much she can actually control her power. I'm not sure if she's seeing the future all the time or if it's a
In which
intentional
case,
thing, you know?
imagine a completely different movie where it's a character who has to come to terms with gaining that power.
Yeah,
Who,
I think that's-
becomes
yeah.
blind. Imagine if the movie started with her becoming blind and her
Madam
being
Web
able
2,
to see the future.
Into the web.
Madam Web
Into
2
the web.
into the web. This is
the
the
world
announcement.
wide web of Madam Web. I would love that. No, yeah, I feel I feel that's literally a plot of a second installment of Madam Web
They
universe.
skipped over it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I feel
You
it's
could
ju-
write an entire other movie about that time jump.
Yeah, and maybe they will.
Maybe you will. Maybe you
I should actually.
Maybe
yeah.
you should write Madam Web 2.
No, so I definitely got why are you not into the last scene, but I also understand why
Also,
she
I'm
is.
sorry, her red lipstick looks awful in the superhero suit bit.
Yeah,
It looks
true.
awful.
It was kind of cheap. I'm sure they could have given her a better shade or
It looks
something.
gross, yeah. Oh.
I mean, Dakota Johnson is amazing, but even she was kind of struggling with that red lipstick. I will
Yeah,
admit that.
yeah. It's when you cover up half her face in these comically large sunglasses and then just give her most ugly red
Yeah.
lipstick imaginable.
Like-
You somehow made her look ugly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ugly is a bit of her age. Come on, it's Dakota Johnson. Like, let's be real.
Okay.
But made her less attractive, definitely. And you know what? Good for her.
Look
If
a
she-
bit silly.
But also she is blind. How is she gonna see it? Like, wait a minute. It actually makes so much sense. Like, 'cause,
In
like,
which case, yeah, I guess future vision doesn't save you from that.
yeah, like,
yeah.
so she's poor blind woman
She
trying
can
to
like
apply
astral
lipstick.
project and like see it, and
Yeah.
it's like go like
Yeah, exactly. Like, she cannot like just do that. So
because
she's.
she also magically just gets astral projection.
I don't.
In the
I.
fucking pool of origins, she gets the fucking astral projection power as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's like not developed enough, definitely in the movie. But I also
Yeah.
feel like I did not care enough for that. Like, it's like I
I
feel like.
also agree that I didn't care enough.
Like, I feel like that is a great potential to be developed if they ever like
But again,
go back
they
to
just
her character.
they just like time skip and like show them in the future. So like, if they were to do like a Madam Web 2, or if those characters were to show up in like Venom 3 or
Yeah.
something, like I bet they're praying and hoping for, like, they would just be those characters. So like Cassie would be like 50 years old Madam Web now, and it would take place in like modern day.
Yeah, I
And
don't know.
like these,
like,
and the girls would be full grown adult Spider Women.
I cannot go
And
into that.
she'll
like,
just be like astral projecting by the side of
Spider-Verse,
them,
I'm
like
sorry,
helping
like-
them out. Yeah, but that's exactly what it's trying to set up, because this movie is so cynical
But like
and cash grabby
it's a
and capitalist.
standalone from what
Like,
I've understood.
barely. Like, because like you can say it's standalone, but it's standalone like Doctor Strange is standalone. As in, like, you know he's gonna, like any other superhero movie is it's standalone in the sense that you know that there's gonna be an Avengers movie with them in.
Yeah.
It's standalone in the sense that you know that they're only making a 4 movie because they need 4 to be in the Avengers, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it's... So Madam Web is standalone in the sense that they need some spider people
Yeah.
because they can't make a new Spider-Man movie yet. So they
I don't
need
know.
some new Spider-Man
I'm
people
gonna
to
comment
cross
on
over
that
with
if they
Venom
actually do that.
and Craven and Morbius in their Sinister Six crossover, you know. Sorry, you don't know who the Sinister Six is.
I don't think I don't need to know.
I don't know,
actually, so-
honestly you don't, because you're gonna love it when it comes out in
Oh,
6 years, when they
amazing.
finish setting up all of the villains that are gonna be a part of it,
Okay.
so that the Madam Web and her webbing crew can take them down.
No, I think there wasn't actually. There was a few things I disliked about the movie. I
I
think,
never said it's webbing time.
Yeah, because like it was one of like the catchphrases of the movie. Like
It's
in the
because
promos.
people were joking about Morbin time.
Yeah, but I feel like there wasn't enough like webbing references in the movie. Like,
There was enough webs.
I genuinely love that. I think that was like such a cool thing to like just
How
throw.
every piece of shattered glass looked like a web.
No, because I think
And
that
her name is Webb.
yeah,
And her mum's name was Webb.
I think that's so cool.
and
Actually,
it was
I love
directed
that.
by Mark Webb. No, I'm joking. That
Oh.
was the, no, that was the Amazing Spider-Man movie. It's
Okay.
directed by a guy called Mark Webb.
Love that. No, I love
So
the
it does
little-
happen.
I loved like every crack looking like a web because it's just like drilling into that like there's no coincidence. Like every coincidence like means something. Like it's all connected. Like you know, multiple futures. Everything's a sign.
Again, you're just doing the work on like the fate and the theme. You know, like it just wasn't developed enough for
It
it,
was
to
for
like
me,
really
like-
connect like at all.
But it was for me in the moment. Like you cannot tell me like it wasn't developed enough if I felt it.
Because
like,
it's so it's like the most loosely connected threadbare web that I've ever seen, if you want to call it that. Like you are holding this web together.
I'm webbing
you
it,
are the
like-
sole person holding this web together.
no,
And
because like
claiming that it makes sense.
But like I like genuinely like got all of that like while watching the movie. Like I did not like for most of those things I did not have to like sit and be like, oh so like why did that crack look like a web or whatever. Like it made sense to me while watching it.
yeah.
I just like felt
It's like the
it.
plot isn't incomprehensible, it's just entirely contrived and boring and cliche, in my opinion.
I think it was actually entertaining and amazing. And cliche, I can agree with that.
Okay.
But like, I like cliches. Like, I like having a stereotypical movie that just like follows the
rules.
Yeah, like the cliche thing of like.
In which case, we should watch the entire MCU together.
No, thank you. Actually.
We should watch all 20 Phase 1, 2, and 3 Marvel movies.
No, see, but like the reason why I like that in Madame Web, and I probably wouldn't really like it in like a movie like Iron Man, is because I just like.
Because you like Dakota Johnson.
First of all, yeah, genuinely, but also I feel like Cassie for me was a very likable character, and I feel
Yeah.
like even though the like cliche storyline could be the same between Madame Web and like Iron Man, I'm not saying it is. I genuinely never watched Iron Man, but like if it was the same, I would probably prefer Madame Web because if like. I don't like Iron Man as a character. I would just like prefer Madame Web because she's just like likable character. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, I like the cliche, especially because I like the character and the actress. So like I think like all of that like ties into like me just enjoying it.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. If you end up liking a character in a movie, it's just gonna like resonate
Yeah,
with you
literally.
more. Exactly. I can't relate to ignoring every other filmmaking aspect because of it.
Can
But
actually.
but no, you have the full right to do that.
No, and I was just also like really liked some choices that they made. Like I genuinely, again going back to the like action scenes, I really liked them. I like how fast paced they were, and I liked like the random like slow mos because it's like. Yeah, it's giving like it's all fast, it's all happening like it's action, but like give me that little glimpse of like her like doing something. You know what I mean? Like I just enjoy. And I also enjoyed how like especially with the fireworks were just like pretty colors. You know, like it was like those are like
flashing lights, jangling keys.
yeah, like I genuinely like it was amazing for me. Like. They flashed a few pretty colors on me while having an emotional scene for me. I was done. Like it was, and I was also crying, so it was like a little bit blurry in that scene for me. If I'm being honest.
It was blurry for me as well because I was crying. How messy that whole scene was. With the camera shaking everywhere, digital zooms all over the place. Jumps the 180-degree line like 5 times over and over again, so you have no idea where anybody is in relation to each other. Which again you think is
a
thematically
genuine
or-
question. Did you actually not like understand like where each character is in that like final fight scene?
In close-ups, it was really confusing.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was only when they did a big wide that I
Mm.
actually kept track of everything.
I don't know, like
Because they had to pull back to do a big wide. But like, there are multiple times where like somebody will just enter a building like in one frame and then they cut to a completely different angle where they're just entering from like the other side of the frame. It's just jarring from like an editing
I truly
perspective.
did not get that.
And like, it just feels really jarring in an editing sense, and especially in that final scene, you really like do feel like lost, which like I've always felt up until this point is like kind of a silly complaint in like final fights in superhero movies because I've never really felt that way before.
Yeah.
But like here I could so feel it because again they'll cut to a shot of like Cassie and Ezekiel approach each other here, like this way.
Yeah.
And then it will cut to the other fucking side of them, and now Cassie's on this side of the screen and Ezekiel's on that side, and you have no idea where anybody is now in relation
I
to
don't know.
each other.
I genuinely did not feel it. I didn't even notice that they were like breaking the 180 degrees.
They
thing.
do it
like,
earlier in the movie as well, but that final fight.
No, I
was,
truly just didn't
awful.
notice. Like I could keep track of everything that was happening, and like also, I kind of liked how messy the final fight scene is, because like it is messy. Like everything is spiraling out of control. Like I feel like, I don't know. Just for me, it made sense. I didn't like get quite too lost in it. I was also in tears actually. So
Also, I want to sort of get this to an end, which is nice that we're talking about the ending.
oh my god, how
But,
long did
Like
this?
hour 40 nearly.
Oh, I
yeah.
don't know. I feel like
But,
we're like 15 minutes in. Like
No, but Yeah, fucking, what was I talking about? I can't remember.
The end, something about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
end.
something about the ending. Yeah. When Cassie does, like, realize her full potential and unlocks all of her powers, all of the stakes are gone. Because you can't kill her. She can see the future. And she's just there, like, slapping Ezekiel around. He's getting hit by, like, fireworks and shit. And I get it if you're like, yeah, go girl, power fantasy, whatever. But you don't feel like she's in any danger whatsoever. Like, because Ezekiel is just getting slapped around because she can literally see the future and can make a perfectly human-shaped hole in this wall out of fireworks because she's saw the one future where that happens, right? Like, she's so overpowered in that final scene when she's finally,
Yeah.
like, unlocked her powers that I feel no tension whatsoever. I feel no
definitely
stakes.
see that. I definitely see why would you think that. But like for me, when I was watching it, I was also getting that vibe like she is overpowered. Like he can't do anything to her because like she
Yeah.
can see it.
It's like she was overpowered before the astral projector.
But what I was also thinking, like why I was actually scared for her, it was like she's so distracted by having 3 young girls depend on her. Like not because like she can't see the future. I think because she's mentally not focused. Because like throughout the whole film, she was like struggling to decide if she's gonna help them or just leave them be, you know. And now she finally felt like that, like she needs to save them. Like I felt like she wants to save them, but like I don't know, I just felt like she can't be too focused on everything that's going on. Because like yeah, she unlocked her powers, but like she didn't like grasp like the right way to use them, if that makes sense. Like she knows what to do, she's not skilled enough to do it.
Well,
in
I
my
think maybe
mind.
it would have added some tension if, like, yeah, she's unlocked her full powers, but it's still not quite, like, enough to beat Ezekiel. And this isn't changing the whole movie,
Yeah,
actually. now.
yeah, I
This
get
is just,
that.
like, genuine,
Yeah,
like, maybe how you fix the last, like, 20 minutes.
yeah,
It's, like, maybe she has her full powers, but Ezekiel still outmatches her.
Mm.
Ezekiel is the one who blinds her
yeah.
somehow, right? Slash in face,
Yeah,
poison,
yeah.
whatever, one of his powers.
Mm.
Ezekiel is the cause of her blindness.
Yeah.
She becomes blind like mid, like fight
Yeah.
scene. And so with the help of the 3 girls,
Yeah.
she manages to get her footing, see into the future, and defeat Ezekiel somehow. And then also her being blind was actually not just random fucking coincidence. And also
Yeah.
she's not too overpowered, but she still wins in the end.
Yeah.
And the girls helped rather than just being distractions for
Yeah.
Cassie because they don't have any powers yet.
Yeah. No,
That's
and
how I would write that
and
whole
I-
scene to be like actually decent, right?
Yeah, and I would probably like that ending too. Like genuinely, like it sounds super good, but I don't mind what they did because I think they
But
did.
that's like entirely off the top of my head. So
I just feel like they did kind of a compromise. Like, yeah, she's gonna
Which
beat
all good
him,
movies are about.
but like she is also gonna get blinded by an accident that she
By a
could not
random
see.
firework,
So like
yeah.
in my head, it was like showing, yeah, she can beat him, but she's not like a god, if that makes sense. Like it was kind of like still reminding us that she's just a human, you know, in that final like blinding scene.
Until 2 minutes later when she does have godlike future seeing powers.
Yeah, that's on her. Like at that point, like that's too far into the future. I could not see that coming. Like
Okay, yeah.
that's on her. Like I loved it still, but like I'm just talking about
Until
the
all of her
final.
injury is completely brushed under the rug because she is a god now.
Exactly. No, I'm just
Yeah.
talking about like the final fight scene itself. I think like it was kind of like cool. Like yeah, she can beat him because she's amazing, but she's also just a human, so she can get blinded by a firework. You know.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah.
Oh. Is that everything we have to say about that?
Probably not. We're probably
not.
gonna be
We'll
like
probably
gonna be
keep talking.
revisiting that. Like.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, that's the Madam Web portion of the show. This show isn't just going to be us arguing and fighting with each other
No,
to the death
wait,
over
we
a
need
movie.
to say final thoughts, like, without arguing.
Oh, okay. Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the structure? We're going to have like a big hour and a half discussion, and then
No,
final
like, in
thoughts,
short,
and
like,
then-
just, like, at the end of the day.
yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I like the movie, like, I definitely think it had its issues, and I can agree with, like, editing, ADR and stuff like that, it wasn't the best, but in my opinion, like, I just enjoyed it, I could feel for the characters and stuff like that, and I think that's what's important when watching a movie, just, like, reach the audience, and this movie actually did reach me, so, like, I would recommend it to anyone who doesn't think too in depth into like stuff like, you know,
For people
editing.
who like story over other things.
Yeah.
Like I said, my
and
mum.
pretty colors, because we
my mum
didn't
would
talk
love it.
about that, but like the film is aesthetically like very nice.
If you say so.
It is.
No, I'm not arguing with this final thought. that's the point of arguing with it. Go see Madam Web. It's a masterpiece.
Definitely go see it. We need for it to make enough money for them to make a sequel for me, actually.
I would actually love that as well, I'm not gonna lie. I support Sony's new strategy of making each movie in their franchise progressively worse and worse.
And
in
also
order to get
Sony
people
hired
over
me.
the
Like,
cinema.
I am like, pay me for this. This is a free advertisement, actually.
No, don't hire him. Your movies will get better. I want them to stay
God forbid.
exactly where they are. I don't want them to be self-aware either.
Hire me as like a main actor.
Thing is that the second that they do put a line, like it's Morbin time in, then like they're done. I'm not seeing another one.
Yeah.
It needs to be like so not self-aware.
Yeah.
Awful. In my opinion, I'm down to watch Craven the Hunter, Venom 3, whatever
No,
the fuck
but
they
I
make.
love that we actually agree that we would watch another movie like this. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think that's the best compromise ever.
And we'd do another episode like this.
No, I
where
just
we,
love how we
argue about
actually
it.
both can agree that the movie was enjoyable for both of us. Like,
Yeah, we disagree on every aspect as to why,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
enjoyable. Go watch it. It's a good time.
Yeah, we
get some
both
drinks
recommend
and watch
it.
it with your friends. It's genuinely a Suicide Squad level disaster from my end, and for Ivan, it's probably a Suicide Squad level masterpiece.
I actually didn't like the first Suicide Squad, so... Yeah. The second one was amazing, though.
Alright, so... No, the second one is amazing. So, I have a list of 100 movies picked from IMDb, Letterboxd, BFI, Oscar winners, some horror movies, some comedies, some superhero movies, and some movies that Ivan specifically picked for this list. I might publicize this list somewhere. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But
Amazing.
pretty much how we're going to pick what movie we're doing next week is we're both going to pick 5 movies from this list, randomly generate a number. I can't be bothered to fill in like a wheel spinning thing.
Okay.
And that will decide what movie we're going to watch.
Exactly.
So, I can cut out the deciding process, honestly.
Okay.
So, if we pick. Nice. Okay, so we have picked from our list of 100.
Can I click generate?
Do you want to click
Yeah,
generate?
I want to have the honors.
There we go. You get to pick the number. Number
4, that's yours, that you
which
will
is-
already seen.
Yeah, one of my movies I've already seen. La La Land.
Insane, because I also wanted to see that one. We are iconic, like, it's actually giving. Like, it's
actually
giving
giving.
destiny.
This is a good way to
Madam Web, like,
It's
seeing
giving
the
Madam
future,
Web.
like, we are webbing it, actually. Like,
Oh no, I just heard. Oh God, I can actually get this part synced up.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Oh my God, I just had a Madam Web future vision that you said something like really racist in that part, in the part that we were about to do, and I'm here to stop you from saying that like really racist thing on the podcast.
First of all, I'm Mr. Web here. Like, let's get something straight.
Do
Like,
you want a different bit for this section?
hopefully.
Do you want a different bit to start us off?
No, I'm the one who actually liked Madame Web, so I had a vision of the future. I saw in the web of possibilities that my camera webbing died, actually. So yeah,
Thank you for speaking directly to the audience for that.
yeah, no.
The camera died, so we're just going to re-record the outro,
Yeah,
which was us deciding what movie we're going to watch next week,
yeah.
which turns out is La La Land. We picked 10 movies each from our list of 100, generated a number, it landed on La La Land. So join us next week for that, if you liked this. And leave some comments or something of what you think of La La Land so we can read them next week.
So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. And as a disclaimer, yeah, we're still friends. We actually did not kill each other off camera.
No, it's fine. We're still here. It's been like 40 minutes
Yeah.
since we finished recording. It's fine.
So yeah, thank you so much, and see you in the next one.
I still love the That's Your Outro. I'm glad you
you.
got it on camera this time.